Why did he do that? He did it on purpose. He did it on purpose. He did it on purpose because he wants the press to write stories and, yeah, that's why we did all of this. That's why we spied on him. It was Trump talking about the Russians. No, it wasn't. That didn't happen until the next day. You're lying. Again. So yesterday I told you that there were further declassifications coming and that the director of national intelligence, John Ratcliffe, sent a letter last week. And in that letter, to sum it up, he said, listen, now we all know. Hillary fabricated the collusion hoax. It was made up. The Russians knew she made it up. Brennan knew she made it up. Obama knew she made it up. Brennan briefed Obama that she made it up on July 26, 2016. We sent a letter to the FBI, Brennan saying this, a referral to the FBI telling them that Hillary Clinton made this up on July 26, 2016. And now everybody's got to come clean. Of course, the media, the goons in the media and the lunatics have refused to cover the story because they don't want you to know about the biggest spying scandal in human history. The FBI then used the information that Hillary made up a collusion hoax and framed Donald Trump as an excuse, what, to investigate Hillary? No, to investigate Trump. It all came out yesterday. Some of the stuff has been declassified. There will be more coming out. It's just going to be Moab on top of Moab here. Bombs dropped on the field here. Let's go to Fox News. Brooks Singman first. Article came out yesterday. Declassification by the letter covered here. This is a great piece. It'll be in the show notes. Show notes always available at bongino.com/newsletter. I encourage you. The newsletter is the show notes. Please check it out. You got that? Paul is a little bit on delay here. Forgive us. We're in the hotel room. While we're on a bit of a delay, this is good. Perfect timing. Again, please pick up my book. I appreciate it. I can't do a lot of PR on it this week for obvious reasons. Follow the Money. A lot of this stuff is already in there. And can I read the first review? This is a part of the first review. Not kidding. You can read this yourself on Amazon. The guy's the number 3 reviewer on all of Amazon. This is the quote of the day about my book. Still shaking my head over some of the details that are provided. That guy's the number 3 book reviewer on Amazon. Okay, there we go. Fox News. DNI Ratcliffe declassifies Brennan notes, CIA memo on Hillary Clinton stirring up scandal between Trump, Russia. Brooks Singman. Let's go to the piece. I want to show you what happened here because I told you this was going to come out, and I'm going to show you what Brennan's doing here, which is just ridiculous. From the piece, exclusive. DNI Ratcliffe on Tuesday declassified documents that revealed former CIA Director Brennan briefed Obama on Hillary Clinton's plot to tie then candidate Donald Trump to Russia as a means of distracting the public from her use of a private email server. Yes, I've been telling you about this forever. Fox News has learned. Ratcliffe declassified Brennan's handwritten notes, which were taken after he briefed Obama on the intelligence the CIA received, and a CIA memo which revealed that officials referred the matter to the FBI for potential investigative action. Folks, these are his handwritten notes, Brennan. Handwritten for the my pen. Handwritten. We only have one pen in the. You have no idea how we're jerry-rigging this show. It's the only pen we found from National CD Rate Line. Well, I don't know. I must have met you somewhere. It's even got a cool light. Check that out. Look at that. Put that in. You like that? Probably just screwed up together. But handwritten, meaning John Brennan's hand wrote the notes, where he's telling you in July of 2016. At the latest, because he knew about it earlier, that he knew about Hillary Clinton's scheme to frame Donald Trump for a fake collusion scandal with the Russians to distract everybody from her email scandal, and the FBI and Obama knew. What else do you need to hear? Why is this not a huge story? Handwritten notes. He's admitting it. Now, you may say, okay, what's new here? You told us this yesterday. Actually, I told you this 3 years ago. Well, what's new here is old information now becomes crystal clear. I want to give a big hat tip on Twitter to our friend @FoolNelson. We don't know his real name. We don't need to know that. But he's a very good source. Always has some good stuff here. He went back, and now that we know on July, keep the date in mind. Don't you forget the date. The date, ski. July 26, 2016, at the latest, Brennan briefs Obama and sends a letter to the FBI where they all know what Hillary's doing. She's framing Donald Trump. July 26th. July 26th. Remember that. Now, Fool Nelson found some great stuff in Brennan's book, Undaunted, that now makes a whole lot of sense. Let's pull up this first passage from him about this fusion cell. This is from Brennan's book, Undaunted. Quote, during the authorized collection activities directed against foreign targets, the CIA and NSA sometimes would pick up information on U.S. citizens and entities. That's referred to as incidental collection. When the information collected involved the possible violation of U.S. law by Americans, that information would be passed immediately to the FBI for follow-up as appropriate. Okay. Yeah, you want me to translate? You need a translation on that? I need you as the audience ombudsman. Okay, Paula needs a translation. Just checking. I'm sure if Joe was here, he would need the translation too. What does that mean? So right around the time at the end of July 26th, where we now know, again, at the latest, Brennan figures out the scheme that Hillary's up to. In August, so just a few days later, Brennan starts up this fusion cell, which is a cell of all kinds of law enforcement intelligence entities that are assigned exclusively to this case. And what does he write in his book? That one of the first things they start doing is incidentally collecting on U.S. citizens. What does that mean? Well, let me just describe to you what they did. Because the CIA cannot legally spy on U.S. citizens, they need the FBI, which Brennan at the end of that piece conveniently says, hey, when we found interesting stuff on U.S. citizens, we sent it over to the FBI. You mean U.S. citizens like Paul Manafort and George Papadopoulos and Carter Page? Bad wink and an eye. You mean like those types? Yes. So what Brennan would do in his fusion cell is he would target foreigners that the Trump team was talking to, pretend they were spying on the foreigners as part of their CIA mission. What they were really doing was listening in on people in the Trump orbit, talking to anyone outside of the United States. That was the fusion cell's purpose. So instead of Brennan turning around and demanding Jim Comey investigate Hillary Clinton for potentially involving the Russians in a disinformation plot to frame Donald Trump, they turn around and start a fusion center at CIA to feed the FBI information about conversations the Trump team is having with foreign targets they acquired. Interesting, isn't it? Fascinating how Johnny B always seems to and how he always seems to cover himself. Oh, I passed that off on the FBI. This guy is slick. He's a weasel dirtbag like you wouldn't believe, but man, is he slick. What a loser. Now, this is where the good stuff gets gooder, as my daughter used to say when she was like 3 or 4. This may be the goodiest. So in Brennan's book, remember when I told you about Brennan's op-ed? He always seems to forget key dates. So in his op-ed in the Washington Post a couple of weeks ago, he writes he briefed Obama about the Russia stuff on July 28th. He may have, but the real briefing about the Russia stuff happened when? July 26th. You think Brennan got that date wrong? Nah, Brennan's just trying to cover up. He's trying to CYA, cover his own caboose right now. Here's an interesting piece from Brennan's book. Again, Hat Tip Fool Nelson. He gets another date wrong. So now Brennan in his book is looking for an excuse as to why he would have started up a fusion cell to investigate Donald Trump for a crime he knew Hillary Clinton made up, right? Makes sense? So he needs in his book to write an excuse as to why he would have done that. So in his book, Undaunted, he writes, quote, it was on July 26, 2016, when Trump publicly stated that he hoped Russia would be able to find Secretary Clinton's emails and share them with the press. Remember that? That's not what he said in his speech. Trump, when he mentioned about Hillary's emails, he said, the press would probably love it if Russia found the emails. He didn't tell Russia to find Hillary's emails. He probably should have reworded that, but that's not what he said. But it's interesting that Brennan in his book can't do a basic internet search and says that speech happened on July 26th. Well, did it? Well, let's go to the New York Times. Conveniently, July 26th, by the way, the same date Brennan briefs Obama on what he knows about Hillary. Trump invited the Russians to hack Clinton. Were they listening? By Michael Schmidt, New York Times. What day did that speech happen? Let's go to the New York Times, the body of the piece, where it clearly lays out, no. Trump made the statement around 10:30 a.m. on July 27th at his golf course in Doral, Florida. It was late afternoon in Russia. You see what's happening here, folks? Brennan thinks you're stupid. Brennan briefs Obama on July 26, 2016, that Hillary's about to frame Donald Trump for a fake collusion hoax. He briefs him on July 26th. When Trump wins the election and Brennan knows his entire plot is going to come out in the public, when Brennan figures it out, he goes back and writes a book. And in his book, he pretends this Trump speech where he said, Hillary's emails, if the Russians have them, the press would love it. He pretends it happened on July 26th when it really happened on July 27th, as if he couldn't do a basic internet search to figure that out. Why did he do that? He did it on purpose. He did it on purpose. He did it on purpose because he wants the press to write stories and, yeah, that's why we did all of this. That's why we spied on him. It was Trump talking about the Russians. No, it wasn't. That didn't happen till the next day. You're lying. Again.
You just heard Dan Bongino.